Welcome back to the channel, and I really have an interesting video for you today. Full backstory. So I've been a licensed real estate agent in the Chicago area for 16 years come this June. So I've done a lot of leasing over that time. When I first got into the business was pretty rough. This was during the recession, like the height of the recession, 2008. And it just weren't that many sales going on. So I kind of found a niche in leasing, and I've done lots of leasing over the last 15 plus years. So I would say in the first 14 years, I saw just regular rentals, whether they were voucher holders or market tenants. But I've noticed a change in the last year to year and a half. For the first decade and a half, I probably ran across 10 people that had a emotional support animal, is what they would call it. Well, I would say in the last year to year and a half, 1 out of every 3 inquiries I get about units that I'm leasing are people that say they have emotional support animals. So the dilemma is most of my landlords do not want pets in city apartments and apartments in the middle of the city for various reasons. Damage that's done by the pets, whether it's cat's urine, dogs chewing, tearing up stuff, or just people being too lazy to walk dogs, so they let them in the front lawn or the backyard of a building and allow them to leave feces everywhere. So it's lots of reasons. It's not that I don't like dogs, and it's not that my clients don't like dogs. Nothing could be further from the truth. But I wanted to make a lot of real estate investors aware of, to me, what's basically a hustle that's being done by tenants right now. They are trying to use the system to force you to allow them to have pets when you would not have pets, by basically not calling a pet, by saying, okay, this is an emotional support animal. Okay, so I'm going to show you something real quick from the city of Madison, Wisconsin. It reads that the people who use emotional support animals may be asked to provide documentation that they have a disability and that they have a disability-related need for the animal. This documentation can come from a licensed health professional. Property owners, so the landlords, are not entitled to information about the type of disability someone has or how they benefit from the animal. Now, this is in Madison, Wisconsin. Under state law, it is discrimination for a property owner to refuse to rent or sell housing because of a support animal, evict a person because they have a support animal, charge a higher rate or deposit because of a support animal, attempt to detour patronage or imply that a person with a disability or emotional support animal is not welcome, fail to provide reasonable accommodations or modifications of policies, practices, and procedures, or separate the owner from the animal. So basically, I'm just letting all of the real estate investors know, and the leasing agents that are out doing leasing, that in my opinion, this is a hustle. Okay, and this is whoever feels offended by it, tenants to feel offended by it. I'm sorry, I've been in this a long time, and now all of a sudden 30 to 40% of applicants are telling me that they got a support animal. It's a hustle. That's all it is. So what I'm gonna just say, and I'm not giving advice, but I would, if it were me, just comply with the law. You don't have to rent to these people because they have a support animal, and you don't have to turn them down because they have a support animal. Go off of what is on these rental applications, and if they don't meet what you're looking for, you don't have to give reasons to why you don't or you will not choose to move forward with them in most states. Now check your local laws in reference to this. This is from, I believe it's petcare.com, certipet.com, I'm sorry. What is an emotional support animal? An emotional support animal is a type of assistance animal that helps mitigate the symptoms of mental and emotional disabilities such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress. Such assistance animals are typically prescribed by a licensed mental health professional as part of an individual's treatment plan. The prescription takes the form of an official document called an Emotional Support Animal Letter, also known as an ESA letter. This document confirms that an individual has a legitimate need for the support that companion animal provides and entitles them to certain rights under federal law. So again, make sure you're checking your local laws and make sure that they are not superseded by federal law. What is an ESA letter for? An ESA letter is an official document signed by a mental health professional. An ESA letter can also be prescribed by other health professionals who have familiarity with an individual's medical condition or a person's disability, such as a general practitioner or psychiatrist. Essentially, an ESA letter takes the form of a prescription. It recommends the use of an emotional support animal as part of a person's treatment plan when it comes to managing their mental health. Now, again, nothing against dogs, and I do understand that there's a difference between what's being deemed as an emotional support animal and a service animal. Service animals provide help to the disabled, such as those that are maybe experiencing sight issues with vision, where that service animal kind of becomes known as a seeing eye dog. And by no means am I saying that there aren't people that actually do have a need for an emotional support animal. But what I'm telling you landlords right now, and what I'm telling you leasing agents, is that this is a hustle going on. It is not from where I maybe had 10 people in 15 years tell me that they had an emotional support animal, and all the leasing that I've done, which is a lot, to 30 to 40%. I'm sorry, this is not legitimate. I did some research on the internet, and there's websites all over that are giving bogus emotional support animal certification letters to allow people to do this. This is basically tenants' the tenants bullying owners into forcing them to accept pets for owners that don't accept pets. Because if you don't have the legitimate need for this emotional support animal, it's not an emotional support animal, it's a pet. Okay, so that's just something I want to enlighten you guys with. The hustle is definitely on. To all the real estate investors that are doing, rentals, apartment building owners, particularly people that are renting apartments, maybe in urban areas, densely populated, where it probably just isn't as, it just doesn't make as much sense to cramp an animal. It's almost kind of cruel to the animal to maybe put them in a small apartment with an owner that may not do their due diligence as far as taking care of the animal properly, taking it out, getting its exercise, walking it, etc. But again, make sure you're complying with the law, but you also need to be on the lookout for the fraudsters and just protect yourself. Protect yourself as the investor, protect yourself as that leasing agent to make sure that you're complying with the law too. But I just had to let everybody, know this, because I'm sorry, this is a hustle being done by probably a majority of the people that are coming with these letters. Okay, guys, that's all I got on this one. Until next time, class is dismissed.